future. The train. How do I say? What the fuck is this? Man, I wish I could invest all my money into. Okay, let's cut a little bit. Hello, this is Vladi from Design Studio Where's Architecture, and today I want to talk about a very trendy topic nowadays, investing. In July, it was a year since I started my investment journey, and I wanted to share for you how it went and what I learned. Fast disclaimer, this is not financial advice, and I share my experience just for entertainment purposes. How and why I got into investing. Back in 2023, I was employed at a different construction office, and one of my elder colleagues was about to go out into the retirement, and we usually have small talks during the lunch where we discuss different topics, and one of them this time was her retirement, and she was bragging that her pension plan payouts are going to be higher than her current salary. And it was like the first bell when I wanted to find out how was my situation there. Secondly, in 2023 I started to make enough savings to start considering what I'm going to do with them, how to use that money so it could start work for me. And lastly, in 2024 I'm going to be 30 years old, so it's kind of milestone when I decided to reconsider my financial life. 2023, my financial situation was okay. I live in Latvia. It's a small Eastern European country. I was working as employee about 9 to 10 years at that time, and overall my government pension plan was on its way. It was fine. However, I had no idea about other government pension plans or retirement options in my country. Overall, my family, my parents taught me how to handle money. I could easily manage my income and expenses. I had enough money in savings for my emergency and for my sudden life. Investing wise, I wasn't taught so well. My family and parents had a little experience in real estate investing, and they had a little experience in business development, but they weren't really aware of all the financial instruments. I had a decent education in the elementary school and economy class. I heard such terms as stocks, bonds, compound interest. However, I would consider my financial level at that time and back 1 year ago as a low beginner. How it went after I found out that I'm actually interested in. While I was finding out my financial and retirement status, I learned everything about government and individual pension plans in my country. And overall the system in Latvia is fine, it's okay. However, mostly the money is double taxed, which is not great. So you can compare this to more developed countries like Canada, probably USA as well, and their retirement plans sometimes are not taxed at all. So you can put their pre-tax money, and if it stays long enough you can also take out of there tax-free. And usually in all the countries around the globe the money is taxed once, and that is considered as tax advantage account. After finding out my current situation, I decided to alter my pension plan to more suitable to my age and my financial situation. By the way, it was like 50-50 stocks to bonds, which I believe is uncorrelatable to my situation as a young age, 30 years to work till government retirement. So I switched that to 100% index plan, and how I chose there basically was to choose like decent performance, and then I just looked for the lowest expense ratio. After I found out my government retirement plan situation, I was into this topic, I was into investing, I wanted to learn more, wanted to find out more, and overall I'm a person who gets easily attached and easily interested in one thing, and then I can spend like a long time studying it. So in a span of 1 month, I read, listened to YouTube content for almost every single financial influencer on the YouTube, and like on span on 6 months I read around 30 books about investing, about businesses, about motivation, and kinda triggered in me this will to invest more. I learned about FIRE movement. I learned a lot of terms, stats, investing strategies, related topics on investing. So if you're interested about the beginner opinion on the investing books that I have read, I'm planning to make a separate video about it. Just type in comment. Maybe you want to know about interesting books. I could read it and also discuss about. What did I decide back then, 1 year ago? First, I decided to invest passively with small amount of my portfolio dedicated to my active investment bets. Percentage wise, I will discuss it later and during the end of the video. I like the FIRE movement strategy and decided to get into my retirement from work for money as fast as possible. I plan to invest in euro currency because I don't want to be open to currency changes in the world. I plan to invest globally diversified and not use any leverage in the beginning. First, I will max out my tax efficient options and accounts, and after that I will put everything into my investment brokerage account. Lastly, I will put my financial cushion split into 12 yearly government bonds, because at that time, a year ago, it was the biggest, let's say so, safe options for my financial cushion. So I started tracking my investments alongside with my income and expenses in the Google Sheets. I made a separate sheet for every month to sum up a sheet for a year where you could see all my expenses, all my income divided by month, and also investment performance or the savings rate during this year. So at this point I was basically all set up, and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing for 20-30 years, and then I'll be a millionaire. While learning so much about the investing and financial instruments, I decided to quit my old job and start my own business, because that's one of the way to increase and get closer to your retirement. You have to make more money. If you're interested about my business situation, how it goes, it's around 1 year soonish. I'm planning to make a different video about it as well. Write in comments, like and subscribe. My lean FIRE retirement plan was I should stop working for money, and basically I could do one architectural project per year for my heart that I'm really interested in, to have a good content on YouTube, to have a good content for myself. In a few months I started to gather up like-minded friends. We made so-called club or WhatsApp chat where we were sharing our thoughts, sharing our achievements, our current strategies, what to buy, what to sell, what is cool, what's not cool. And I think this was one of the most important things I made last year. This time was very valuable. I thought and talked about many different things. We thought about the books we thought about the things we learned, we thought about the market crashes, we were talking about huge S&P rises and roller coasters. And some of my friends were really good at crypto, some of were knowing about Asia markets. They were suggesting many things. However, I decided that this first year I'm going to keep and stick to my strategy. I think it was the right decision. However, like looking back at the meetings we had, one of my friends was actually suggesting to get Solana like in September 2023, and if you look at this coin now, you can see I would be a little bit richer. So about the financial decisions I made during this year. I opened my government pension third level plan for me and my wife, and we maxed it out for the year. We were actually lucky there. We maxed it out in the October when there was a huge market dip, and now it has grown quite significantly. So it was just pure luck. There was no decision behind it. Basically, we thought since it's market dip now and it's towards the end of this year, it would make sense to buy for whole year like now, so we can finish it off. And we did it. You can pay there before tax money. The only tax advantage we have here in Latvia, when you take the money out, you get still taxed, I believe. The performance of this was expected like 10% per year as a global ETF performance. Secondly, I started to organize my financial cushion in 12 yearly deposits. Basically, during the year, once per month, I would buy a portion of a yearly government bond, or I would make a bank deposit depending on that situation, which was more profitable. It was expected performance like 3.5 to 4% per year after taxes. And lastly, my excess savings and cash, I opened investment accounts. And unfortunately, here in Latvia, broker investment accounts are triple taxed. Usually you get taxed, you have to pay their tax money. You get taxed when you buy some ETFs because of the dividends or trades, and you also get taxed when you take the money out. However, it's all fixed, 20%, there's no progression, so if you make a lot of money, it's still 20%. My first account was opened on the interactive brokers. Unfortunately, I did not use any recruitment bonus codes, and I didn't get any bonuses for opening account there. And don't repeat my mistakes. If you are interested to open your account, use referral links. If you want, you can use referral from my account. It's down in the description. If you want, you can use it. If you don't want, you can use any other referral account. Basically, you earn extra stocks when you open the account. Why I used Interactive Brokers Europe, mostly it was like financial influencer advertisement that I was looking at that time, and my own analysis of options in my contract. So the pros there was high insurance coverage in Netherlands banks, lower than average fees, especially if you compare to local brokers. Like my local banks takes 10 euros per transaction. Huge selection of financial instruments available, clear payment system, there's nothing hidden, no hidden fees, no currency exchanges except if you wanted. Actually, one of the important things was it was kind of easy to inform my government about my investment accounts. The cons of this platform, of course there are some. It's hard to sync up. You just have to know a lot of yourself, know a lot of your financial instruments. It's not friendly for beginners, definitely. Its interface in the portal and app, it also is looking kind of difficult. Insurance coverage, unfortunately, is going to get lower since Interactive Brokers Europe are moving from Netherlands to Ireland. After half a year of my journey, I also opened my Trade Republic account. At that time, it was mostly because it offered the highest interest rate for euros, and I just put there my excess cash from my financial cushion that I would later get cut and put into government bonds, which sometimes gives more. If you compare Trade Republic with IB, the fees there are kind of lower. However, Trade Republic definitely offers a lot less financial instruments that you can choose of. They are following up the Europe Central Bank euro currency rates, so they are lowering the rates at the moment as well. What did I buy during this year? First, and my main focus were Vanguard FTSE World ETF, and it was kept as a base. Then I decided to add S&P 500 ETFs because they were performing better, and I decided I'm fine with focusing more on the US stocks. I started with also Vanguard WUSA. However, later during this year I switched to SPY 5 ETF because they lowered their expense ratio very significantly, like it was twice lower than the Vanguard's. Thirdly, I bought some REITs for more diversification. About TRED, which is One Egg Global Real Estate REIT. In your situation you can choose and decide whatever you like. And for my gambling part, which back at that time I wanted it to have around 5% of my total capital, I bought DFN, which is so-called defense stock ETF. And mainly I decided to buy it because of a conflict between Ukraine and Russia. I was feeling like it is not going to stop very soon, so I thought it would be growing during this time, and I believe until this conflict is down, I'm not going to switch this ETF. For other part of my gambling, I bought Ethereum. I bought it when there was rumors around Bitcoin spot ETF acceptance. So I thought, since Bitcoin is going to fly to the moon, actually it was already flying during the rumors, maybe the Ethereum would fly up as well. How I chose my ETFs, mostly used just ETF platform, but you can try to find and use some else. Basically the first thing I'm watching when I'm choosing my ETF is total expense ratio, which is basically how much of your value is paid yearly to keep this fund up. Then I'm usually watching how it's replicated, so I want it to be physical, so the fund is actually buying those stocks and keeping them, and not only buying CFDs like synthetical ETFs. I usually watch the fund size, so it could be at least 10 in the green zone, so the fund is not liquidated or is not planned to liquidate because it's too small, so it's not profitable. Well, of course, usually with Vanguard or any big funds it's not an issue. After that I watch on the providers. So as I said before, I bought Vanguard, which is one of the biggest. BlackRock, Vanguard, Invesco, there a lot of them are good providers that you could use yourself. And after that I'm watching so that the currency is my native currency. I think this one is USD probably, but there are also euro currency on the IBEs, you can find them. And then the distribution policy. Distributing is when you get the dividends quarterly. In this ETF situation, accumulating ETFs, if you don't get them and they just automatically reinvested. Since SPDR is not available in accumulating version, I bought the distributing, but I would rather choose accumulating version myself here. In my first year of 2023 to 2024, my wife and I totally invested 15,800 euros, calculating in the financial cushion and third level pension government plans. Obviously it wasn't all earned during this year, we had cash on the side laying, so we just reinvested it. Planned income for 2024 is around 36k, with the savings rate about 30%, but we'll see how it goes. As you can see, the overall growth was 7.6%, because most of the money is invested into my cushion in the government bonds, which has lower yield. And inflation, as I would calculate it around for this period, is 4 to 5%, so it's about 2.6 over inflation, which I consider okay. If we consider only broker account investments, the performance there was much higher, 13.85, which is after the inflation is about 9%. So I consider it as very good stats. My highest growing positions were gambling bets, DeFi and Ethereum. As you can see, 31%, almost both. Of course, it wasn't because I was very smart about things, but because I was lucky. Basically, the DeFi ETF grew highly after the conflict in Israel started, and Ethereum grew really high after the spot Ethereum ETF was also announced, and I just bought it in very good time in October 2023. Maybe here is less luck and more playing on the rumor. In absolute numbers, my investments made me around 1.2k in euros, which is like average median salary in Latvia, so I'm quite happy. Next year I would like to make like 3 average salaries in Latvia, and we'll see how it goes. About the portfolio builder, I wanted to add about 80% of my capital into ETF, 10% into REITs, and 5% into my stock gamble, and 5% into crypto gamble. As you can see in my current situation, the ETFs are overwhelmingly high. The REITs are not high enough as I wanted them to be, and my gamble unfortunately is quite low. I want to change that in the further years. However, if we just analyze my broker stock accounts, which I directly control, the correspondence there is much better, almost exactly as I planned. About my future next year. Next year I want to stay closer to my desired starting percentages in the portfolio. I want to keep that on defense till conflict in Ukraine ends or something global happens there. After that, I'm going to buy some electricity or energy stock or ETFs in this category because I believe that crypto ETFs, AI, Rise and other computing stuff is going to demand a lot of electricity. And of course, this is not financial advice. This is my small gambling bet that I'm going to do probably. For crypto, I'll keep getting my Ethereum for now, the coming year until the Ethereum spot ETF is going to come out. Basically, this was my first year into investing. In the August, we had a big dip in the market. I'm still bullish about it. I feel it like a small correction. In my opinion, the market will keep growing up until the presidential elections in the US, and then we'll see how it goes. Maybe you want to know more about my beginner journey into investing. Maybe you have some more questions about the topics I discussed. Ask them in comments. I will probably try to answer there. And please like, subscribe if you liked, and let's hope for a bull markets and more 10x's. See you later.